Thank you for joining us on Data Cloud Now, where we bring you the latest in all things data in business and industry. I'm Ryan Green, and I'm joined by Simon Willis, Global Vice President for Public Sector at MasterCard. Simon, so great to have you on the program. To start with, what advancements are you hearing in regards to the public sector, and how are they using data and advanced analytics to better serve their constituents?
Well, Ryan, that's kind of hard to summarize because so much is happening on data analytics in public sector, and has been for a long time. I've got to say, the progress has been a little slower than we hoped. The promise was and remains very large, but we're kind of going step at a time in public sector for a lot of different reasons. The challenges are really complex, but whichever way you look, whether it's education, healthcare, criminal justice, defense, and increasingly some of the areas we're looking at is finance, financial management, forecasting, behavioral analytics, climate change, sustainability, all that kind of stuff. There's an analytics need in every one of those areas. So, it's a rich hunting ground.
You know, as public sector agencies transition to the cloud, what takeaways have you noticed, Simon?
A couple of things. I mean, public sector has struggled to build the commercial capacity, the technical skills, and really the transformational management capacity. You've got a selection process for politicians and ministers, which kind of filters out people who have the right kind of experience to make these kind of decisions. You know, I'm wandering around here and looking at what's going on in banking, what's going on in retail, what's going on in other industrial areas. Incredibly exciting stuff around cloud-based analytics. And I'm kind of saying, I wish the public sector could see and learn from some of this stuff, but it's really tough. And their challenges are incredibly complex. The getting their hands on the right skills to set customer side when they can't pay 1/4 or 1/5 of what both their vendors and industry is able to pay for the right kind of skills around analytics. It's it's a really hot area. So public sector struggles, but we're starting to see some really cool stuff. A lot going on in local government, which is sometimes, if they don't have the heft and the buying power, at least they have the agility and they have the ability to innovate a little bit, and they're closer to citizens sometimes, so they understand some of the they can get the reward a little earlier. If you're looking at big complex operations in central government like criminal justice, you've got multiple agencies, law courts, police,
different layers that you have to go through.
Tons of different layers, and really, really, really complex and sensitive data to try and deal with. But
you mentioned, you were walking around. We're at Snowflake's Data Cloud World Tour here in London. The energy, the excitement. What specifically on the local front are you noticing, and any trends you'd like to share with the audience?
Here in UK?
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, UK is probably ahead of most. UK public sector. It's had a cloud framework for, I think, going on about 10 years now. It's got a digital marketplace. It makes it easier, particularly for smaller analytics companies, and there are a lot around here, to play in the public sector space. It hasn't delivered all that we hoped, to be completely frank with you. There's definitely been progress, and there are many countries I've worked in who look with a certain amount of jealousy at the UK's approach, because they've really tried quite hard to make it easier to push towards cloud. But even here in the UK, there's a lot of understandable sensitivity, reservation about data privacy, but also just about database. I mean, you can put all the technology you want in place, and you can bring the best analysts and the best analytics and the best algorithms to bear. But if your data's a mess,
you're going to have a problem.
You're still going to have a problem, and there is so much buried in old systems, large, old, incompatible systems in the public sector. With, I have to say, large IT providers having not always done their best by public sector customers in terms of, keeping a hold on the contracts. Cloud is starting to open that up, but it's which is incredibly promising. You can do a lot of stuff on top of legacy without having to do the complete forklift refit that most agencies can't afford. So it's promising but hard.
So to your point, it sounds like early stages, but promising down the line. Is there any
late early stages?
We'll go late early. Is there any final, messaging you'd like to deliver with the audience, specifically as it relates to the UK, how they're using data and specifically the cloud?
Look, if I was going to go with one takeaway, Ryan, I'd say that what has become possible with the state of cloud-based data in the last 5 years is dynamic evidence-based policymaking. And I'll tell you what I mean. What we tend to do is a lot of analysis and then we make a guess about what an intervention is going to do, whether that's a healthcare intervention, an education intervention, a criminal justice intervention, climate change intervention. This is all incredibly difficult and complex stuff for governments to work on. And they live in a world of unintended consequences.
Right.
They press down here and something goes wrong over here. And it
can get messy quick.
It's really, really tough. So what analytics offers now is dynamic tracking. You can literally see, is this intervention having the effect that I wanted to have? Is this nudge affecting just the group I wanted it to affect? Is it positive and what's causing the negatives? That has really opened up a world of possibility for governments that I think, you can see the UK and other governments who are advanced in this area. They're chasing it, but the full rewards, they're not fully in their hands just yet.
So Simon, we're excited to see what's next. Really appreciate you spending time and sharing your insights on the matter. I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. We'll see you soon.